Introducing Module 3 of the Reach Hurting Kids Workshop, Reaching and Teaching Hurting Kids. Module 3 begins with a real-life focus group interview. A group of children compare their negative experiences at school to their positive experiences at church. Afterwards, participants pause to ask why these kids were having such a hard time at school and consider the potential impact of trauma. Next, an in-depth video describes the 4 main ways that trauma affects learning. Through case studies, interviews, and scientific explanations, your team will learn why children act out or disengage during teaching time. A graphic organizer in their workbook helps them process and understand the information. After the video, the presenter uses a word wall to highlight key terms, reminding participants that trauma affects our internal working models and causes children to feel dysregulated. With this knowledge in hand, participants revisit the focus group interview. Working in groups, they examine a transcript of the interview and highlight the signs and symptoms of trauma. Through this activity, participants recognize how trauma made it so difficult for these kids to succeed at school. The next part of the module presents 3 principles of trauma-informed teaching in the children's ministry. First, the presenter purposely causes one of the participants to feel anxious and distracted to demonstrate how we must meet kids' basic needs before they can learn. This is followed by a real-life story of a children's pastor who increased learning by creating a breakfast club. Afterwards, participants consider which basic needs the breakfast club met and indicate their responses by standing in a different corner of the room. Next, participants complete a matching exercise that illustrates how kids can learn more about the gospel from how we treat them than from the lesson itself. Finally, a real-life case study video illustrates how teaching can be an opportunity to build kids up by helping them achieve meaningful accomplishments. Participants process the story by writing down their thoughts, getting into pairs, and sharing the reflections with the person next to them. In the last part of the module, the presenter introduces teaching strategies. They display a list of teaching strategies and then reveal that all of them had been included during the workshop so that the participants could see them in action. After considering how the strategies benefited their own learning, participants recognize the importance of teaching strategies for kids who have experienced trauma. The module concludes on a hopeful note. When children feel loved in church, it helps reverse the damaging effects of trauma on the brain. This means that, down to our neurons, God has made us a people who are able to grow and form into His likeness for life.